Welcome to the Maythorn Monthly for June. We're at Oropesa del Mar on the Costa del Azahar. I've not probably explained before, but Azahar on the Costa del Azahar means the orange blossom coast. Trying to pick a time to come here when the actual orange blossom is out is quite difficult. We haven't succeeded yet, but the orange plantations are all along here. They're behind the resort, which is on the seafront. They're also the far side of the railway, but they're before you come to the mountains behind. So that's where we stand at the moment. Anybody for orange juice? Now here's some footage from Australia, where our family have landed a few years ago, and this month they've been climbing a tree. Now this is no ordinary tree. They went to the Costa National Park and they climbed a big karri tree. This particular karri tree, known as the Gloucester tree, is in fact the second tallest fire lookout in the world. The Australians have to do a lot of that. It's no longer used as a fire lookout. It's 53 metres above the ground, the actual platform where they look out, and the tree's total height is 58 metres. So we follow our two granddaughters who went on I think it was a 3-kilometre trek through the forests full of karri trees to find this particular tree and give it a climb.
My legs feel like jelly.
So that was Jellyfoot Jess climbing the Gloucester tree in Western Australia, quite a long way from where they live actually, a bit of a day out for them. We're hoping to be able to go and visit them ourselves in the autumn, but in the meantime let's hope that we get a few more bits of footage coming in from Australia to remind us what it's like down there. Well, we're back here at Marina D'Or in Spain, and this is the Playa de les Emplarias, I think I have that correct, Emplarias. This is the beach where every year until 2019 we spotted an event being built, temporary buildings being put up, banners, archways, seating, but we never actually saw the event. So earlier in May I was flying the drone over this beach and spotted some of these buildings going up again. I knew that we were staying here longer this time, so I hung around until the event actually took place and we found out what it was. In 2018 and then 2019, we'd watched different stages of this event being put together, from seeing the gantries put up to temporary buildings to even the seating that people get to sit in at the finish line. But only this year did we find out it's to do with the Mediterranean Epic Gran Fondo cycle race. The details of their website a little later on in the programme. So here in Spain, we're pretty much always by the sea because it's all along this coast, and our apartment is actually a couple of 100 meters from the beach. So everywhere we go, we tend to walk along the beach. We're now on our way to get some lunch at one of the bars further down. Interestingly enough, the grass along the front there has been replaced in a short section by some artificial grass since we were last here. I'm not sure why they're doing that, unless they were having trouble keeping the real grass alive, but that's something we noticed. The other place I'm going to take you to again this month is Poland. We were in Gdansk, and I did show you last time the lift bridge, which I said you have to wait half an hour, maybe an hour, depending what time of day, before you can cross the river. There are other ways to get across the river, and we found one. It was a ferry, so let's take a trip on the ferry across the river in Gdansk. I'm guessing that the ferries and other boats that are carrying passengers have got a right of way over just leisure boats that are out on the river, because a quick blast on the horn and this catamaran backed up and led us through to the steps opposite. Well, something a bit different today. We're aboard a pirate galleon. It says so on the ticket, if you can read that. We're on the river Motiava in Gdansk, and we've been taking a trip to the old shipyards. The camera is in that mode where it's supposed to follow me, and instead it seems to be jumping up and down. I don't think that's to do with the waves. I think it's just having a little fit. Let me just lean into it. Yeah, it's nice having a remote control camera if it does what it's supposed to do. Anyway, you're joining me on this ship. We have a cabaret on board, we have a singer, and we're going through the old shipyards. So I'm going up on deck with the camera now to let you have a look around the shipyards of Gdansk.
Poprosiłem o kredyt, powiedziała idź precz. Mogę mieć tu 100 takich tęsknień codziennie. Już nie wrócę na morze. Nigdy więcej o nie. Wreszcie koniec uciekli. Na pewno tobie. Rzuciłem 10, doskoczyła jak to i butelkę najlepszą przysunęła pod nos. Powiedziała zalotnie, co chcesz mogę ci dać. Ja jej lato, ty w kąt rozpadaj stabilny bar. Już nie wrócę na morze. Nigdy więcej o nie. Wreszcie koniec uczęki. Na pewno tobie.
The purpose of this trip is to take you down the river and through to the Gdansk shipyards. They were formerly known as the Lenin shipyard. The yard gained international fame in September 1980 when Solidarity was founded there. So we're sitting here at a beachfront bar on the Mediterranean. This is the Didota campsite, which they've extended out right to the sea after it was totally wrecked. This part was totally destroyed by the storms in 2020, so it's been rebuilt. There are teenagers out there who are learning to surf, it would appear. Very home and away stuff. And I have been relaxing here now for a few weeks, but I also relax in the UK, and I have a flat in Bramley near Leeds, which is right on the edge of a big park, and it was quite sunny the day I last went there to sign up the tenant for another 12 months, and so I went and sat in the park, waited for him to come home from work, and it's got a walled garden. Just thought you might like to have a look at that and see what that was like. It's quite a nice place to be, and it was one of the reasons I chose to invest in the property there. And of course I get to Bramley by getting a bus out from Leeds. I travel up to Leeds on the train and arrive at the railway station. This is the front of Leeds station in Yorkshire. The bus stops outside show how well integrated the buses and trains are. And this is an electric bus going past, which shows that Leeds are taking the whole renewable energy thing quite seriously. This is the Trinity Centre. It's just across the road from the railway station, and it's where I always go for lunch because there's lots of choice here. There's a lot of clothes shopping to be done as well, but that's not really my thing. While we're here, we might have to do a bit of horsing around. The other thing I'd like to talk about while I'm in Leeds is this building here. Now, it was a nightclub, and then there was a fire here. The building's all been renovated, and its new use will shortly become apparent. This drone footage taken at night shows an awful lot of air conditioning being installed. So if you think about it, what kind of building needs lots and lots of air conditioning? In my career, I'd be talking about radio studios, but even more so with TV studios, because there's lots of lights and other heat generating devices. It can quickly become quite tropical inside, and yet you cannot open windows. You have to preserve a quiet atmosphere. So where's this located? Well, there's the Trinity Centre that I've just been in, and if we just zoom out, you can see it's right by the city square, where, by the way, I got attacked by pigeons, but I won't go into that. So this is the building from the ground level. It's not got any clues on the outside, strangely enough. The company inside are not really saying much. And now you can see which channel we're talking about. Yes, Channel 4 moved in here and made it their headquarters in Leeds, and first broadcast from here in March.
Channel 4. Well, joining me now is Dave Innes, who's the head of economics at the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, which investigates and campaigns on poverty issues.
In case you hadn't noticed, more and more TV, radio and film production is being moved away from the south, and here is Channel 4 up north and all ready to be sold off by the government.
Channel 4.
So you join me now by the Mediterranean once again, because that's where I am at the moment. And this is the Ribera de Cabanes. This is an area which I reported on last year, where they were going to demolish all the houses along the front because they don't appear on the land registry, and they've said they're illegal. Now there are posters up there on the houses from people saying their families lived there for 5 generations. So we're still fighting, and we've just signed the petition. We wish them luck with keeping their houses. Back in the UK, as you know, we settled in the middle of the Wirral. We're right across the road from the Arrow Park, the Arrow Country Park to give it its full name, and I'm starting to explore that when I'm back home. But so far I've only got as far as the football field, and I've seen the young people who play there on multiple pitches. So there's a lot more to Arrow Park we'll get to in the future. But for this month, have a look at the football pitches. I've never been a particular fan of any sport, but if you live anywhere near Liverpool, then you're going to be interested in football, and of course all these teenagers are hoping one day they'll be in one of the big teams. Coming back over here to the warmer climes of the Mediterranean, the kids who were doing their paddleboarding and surfing lessons have been called out of the water because 2 lads just came out the campsite with a box full of foil wrapped butties or something. So it's feeding time at the surf. Another popular sport in Spain is cycling, and that's why so many cycle races take place here. Our resort of Marina D'Or gets closed off several times a year. That is the main road, the Avenida Barcelona, which you see here, is closed. This event was on the 7th of May, and this bus starts from here at Marina D'Or and goes to Madrid twice a day, and it's not able to get onto the main road, so it's having to turn around and find a way down the back streets. And while we're at this spot, did you notice a new building going on just across the way from the roundabout? I think we'll be looking at that one again in the future, as that'll be very welcome here. So that was the day when Avenida Barcelona was closed for the cycle race. Lots of fun and excitement and no traffic in our little area of Marina D'Or. Now over here on the screen you can see the weather temperatures. Now this is a display that's on my website, the SmartServe website, which monitors the temperatures around the various places that we go and visit and bring back video from. Some of them we haven't been to yet, but you'll see the popular ones here, including the Wirral, which is usually quite cool compared with the others. Spain, where we are now, that's pretty much been the hottest lately. Bulgaria, which we're about to pop over to. Bulgaria can be just as warm and even warmer. In 2007, when I was there in May, the temperatures were above 40 degrees. That was absolutely frying there. So yeah, the temperatures vary a lot. Perth, which we were at the beginning of the programme, that tends to be going down at the moment because they're heading into winter while we head into summer. So those are the temperatures. Very interesting, I'm sure. So while I've been here in Spain, Colin's been in Bulgaria, and he started to send pictures back, so we're going to go and have a look at those now. I recognise some of this, the swimming pool in Oresh, for instance, some of the hill views, and it's very handy having him over there with a camera because we can take a look into how it is in Bulgaria at the moment. Colin tells me he thinks this building's had a fresh coat of paint since we were last there, but it's been a few years, so I can't be absolutely certain, because I thought it had just been renovated and it was probably freshly painted a few years ago. Who knows? But one good thing is they're still meeting at the cafe in the mornings for coffee, and this is where it is. That's the building it's in, and the restaurant has started serving food. If I can just interrupt with a bit of technology here, it helps if I hold the technology up to my mouth, because I've just tried to do this and didn't pick this up. So it requires a little brain power from this aging person. So the technology that we use as we travel is basically the internet, which started in a fairly simple form in the 90s and has really progressed. Screens, I prefer a big screen, possibly because I'm a little blind. But of course I have also got the little phone which I like to drop. The big screen suits me, it's screwed to the wall, and here's how the internet and the big screen mean that I can go anywhere in the world and watch Disney, Prime, Netflix, YouTube, have logins for all of those. So if I was watching a film in the UK on Netflix and I had to stop it because we needed to get to the airport, when I get here I can go back into Netflix and the film will restart at the same place, because that's the technology that we're offered these days. I bought this set about 5 or 6 years ago, a Samsung Smart TV, for about €400 in Castellón de la Plana. Things have got cheaper since then, and at home I've got a Sonos smart speaker which is about 180 quid's worth, and I'm still not convinced it was worth it, particularly when this Xiaomi smart speaker was on sale in Castellón at MediaMarkt for €19.99. That's about 18 quid, or about a tenth of the price of the Sonos. And it does the same things. It plays us music, picks us up radio stations, and hey Google, what's the weather like in Perth, Australia?
Right now in Perth, Australia, it's 19 degrees and mostly cloudy. Today, there will be scattered showers, with a forecast high of 21 and a low of 11.
Moving on with the videos, and oh, hey Google, can you play me some classical music?
Sure. Here's the Spotify playlist called Classical Essentials.
Here's the trip we made to Castellón. The Solera Centre has been all changed, so the way you get into it, the ramps, the stairs, all those things, they've all gone. And there's one point of entry now for the pedestrians. You'll see a lift, you'll see an escalator, and as we go up the escalator, you'll see a place that I showed you last year. It's become one of our favourite places. It's called Bon Bon Boss. You eat outside, you go into the centre to order, and then you sit outside with your food. You can sit inside, but who'd want to? We've had some more pictures in from Bulgaria, from Colin, and first of all we're looking out onto his front lawn where he has the lawnmower at work, or two of them by the look of it. He's drying his washing and looking out at his piece of land. It's one of the largest lawns I've ever seen. He's got a couple of acres here, I think. There's tremendous views over the hills from Oresh. But our next stop is Fischtoff, because that's where all the eating places are. I recognise this one, it's Deja Vu, where I've eaten and drunk a few times. And this cafe is opposite the Billa supermarket. Colin's also been up to my own house on the hill, the house that fell down. As those of you who've been following my progress since I bought it in 2007 will know, small hole in the roof ended up leading to the mud bricks completely disintegrating and the whole house falling down. It actually looks from these pictures as though the outbuildings are still fairly well intact. Perhaps I should be converting them to a flat and living there, because fantastic views from the top of the hill by the cemetery. My other plan, which I started to look at just before the lockdowns and therefore haven't been back for a few years to follow it through, was to buy a small one-bedroom bungalow on a plot of land near the bottom of the hill in the village, and to do that up and start it as a base to work from. But I put a deposit down on this house and of course haven't been back since, and the owner of it has been living in France and she hasn't been back either, so one of these days we'll meet up and the sale will take place, hopefully. Well, it looks as though my houses in Bulgaria need my attention. They're all overgrown at the moment. And talking of overgrown, undergrowth, whatever, this is the stretch of land along the back of the resort, behind all the apartments, where the railway line runs. And they dug up all this land here. It was quite nicely landscaped some time ago, and they dug it up to put in the huge big pipes for the desalination plant to deliver the water down to Oropesa. They left it in a right state for years, but that now, I've seen the gardeners coming along the back there getting rid of all the rubbish and the weeds, but they've let the wildflowers grow, and this has become a thing worldwide. I think that we need to get back to nature, so more of this stuff is being allowed to grow. It's a bit dry here, it's hot, it's like nearly 30 degrees, so this kind of thing doesn't grow as well as it would in Britain. And talking of which, going back to the Wirral, my favourite place at the moment, because we're still exploring it, there's a nice bluebell wood, and bluebells are around for a short length of time this time of year, and so we'll go and have a look round. It's an RSPB centre at Burton Mere, but we didn't go that way. We'll look at that some other time because we wanted to get the bluebells in the wood, so here they are. Well, that's just about it for this month. As you can see on the screen, we've now got 4 regular countries to visit. Perhaps we'll be adding Australia to that list from time to time, but it's Spain, the UK, Poland and Bulgaria for now. Yes, we will be going back to Bulgaria next month because I'm determined to follow through what's happening with my houses there. So see you next month. Bye.